With 1 in every 4 homes owning a dog, they are the nation's favourite pet.
He's so sweet.
But for some, they are the targets for cruelty and abuse.
It's a hellhole, isn't it? Hellhole for dogs.
For nearly 200 years, the RSPCA have been there, protecting these amazing animals.
Please do not leave with the dogs.
You're not being now, you're not even...
These are the people for whom appalling treatment, atrocious living conditions,
He hasn't got any access to shelter.
and severe neglect are unforgivable.
There's a dog here that's been badly attacked. You got it? Bless its heart.
They'll do everything within their power to ensure that man's best friend is properly looked after. These are the dog rescuers. Coming up,
Need to get in there.
a dangerous situation as a frightened dog that's been left on its own for days protects her puppies.
If she goes for you, just run, yeah?
A welfare officer is called to save a dog in danger of being loved to death.
She was eating creamy cakes and Maltesers.
And the disturbing story of dogs discovered locked up in vile living conditions.
I can only call it as I see it. I've turned up here, it's horrendous.
Dogs rely on us for their food, water and shelter. Yet in 2012 we abandoned over 120,000 of them, leaving the RSPCA to pick up the pieces. In London, Inspector Clare Dew is en route to investigate another potential case of abandonment, but this one has an added risk.
This would be a routine abandonment if it wasn't for the fact that some of the information I've received is that there are some very young puppies, which makes this more serious. If the owner's not there and not providing a food source, Mum could manage for a little while, but the pups won't manage for very long at all. They won't have much reserve built up and they'll dehydrate and go downhill very quickly.
The dogs are on the 7th floor of a block of flats.
That'll be them then.
And it quickly becomes clear that the dogs may have been abandoned for a number of days.
These have obviously come from the neighbours. It says, your dog has been barking all night, that's enough, do something about it. The dog's been barking since 2 a.m.
If Claire's going to stand any chance of removing the dog from the property without a fight, then she needs to build up a rapport with her as quickly as possible.
Have you got babies? Have you? It's a very angry Staffordshire Bull Terrier. Very angry.
The initial report claimed that the dog had been alone for several days and has young puppies, but so far there's no sign of them.
My concern is the puppies, but I'm not sure how anyone would know there was puppies here. What? Yeah, I know you're unhappy. I'm going to get you something to eat in a minute.
If puppies are inside, then Claire can call the police to force entry. But if she can't find any signs of them, all she can do is tape a notice to the front door and return tomorrow.
Oh, I can hear him now, yeah. Hello! I can hear him now, yeah.
Having confirmed that puppies are inside, this has become an emergency situation, so Claire calls the police.
I'm looking for some urgent assistance, please, at an address in EC1. I can't leave her in there because she's got tiny puppies. Ordinarily, I'd stick a notice up and come back and see if somebody's been there overnight, but I can't do that because she's leaking milk and she can't reach her puppies.
Right.
So I need to get in there.
After assessing the situation, the police decide that the dogs need to come out immediately. However, with an aggressive Staffordshire Bull Terrier on the loose, getting into the flat could be extremely dangerous. So before she goes in, Claire wants to try and understand why the dog's so wound up.
This will give me some idea whether she's aggressive because she's peed off, whether she's hungry, and whether I'm actually going to be able to talk around. Hey, good girl. You hungry girl. Good girl. I'm just trying to form some sort of bond with the dog, even if it's quite tenuous, just so at least she knows that we're here to help. She knows that I'm a food source, so killing me off when I come through the door isn't going to help her because I'm the only one that's feeding her at the moment. So we need to keep quiet.
After bribing the dog with a number of treats, Claire's ready to go in.
Right, one more. Good girl, stay there. And again. Last one. Shut the door. Right, she's too frightened to come out. Good girl. Hello. It's a good girl.
Understandably, the dog is very frightened and wants to protect her puppies. Using more treats, Claire manages to coax her into one of the bedrooms. In the meantime, Animal Welfare Officer Siobhan Tinnerman has found a pair of 6-week-old puppies shut in the bathroom. They appear to be okay, but Claire is keen to try and find out exactly how long they've been left alone for.
It looks like the dog's been here on her own for quite some time, but just shut out in the hallway. There's all the faeces and urine from the bitches out here in the hallway, as you can see, and it's quite smelly. What's the date in the fridge? Food. When did she last buy milk? I've just had a quick look in the fridge just to have a look at the food. And the milk's dated the 14th of June, which is tomorrow, which suggests that she probably only bought it a couple of days ago, which will probably fit in with what we've been told by the neighbours. The dogs have been barking for a couple of days, she's been gone for a couple of days. It just looks like the puppies have been in the bathroom and they've shut themselves in the bathroom. Let's get them out of here.
Unsurprisingly, the adorable puppies are an instant hit.
Does anyone want a puppy? Puppy? Puppy to anyone? She's obviously fallen in love.
He likes a cuddle.
Oh, pupsies. This is the nice part of the job. We don't get to do puppies very often. We get to do skinny dogs, we don't get to do pups. I like pups.
Removing a pair of cute puppies is something that everyone was happy to be involved in. But when it comes to their mother, not everyone is so keen. Find out later if Claire can get her out.
Go on.
With so many different breeds, dogs can come in all shapes and sizes, but it's thought that at least a third of the UK's dogs are overweight. Just as with humans, a lack of exercise and poor diet can lead to ill health, and extreme cases can even be fatal. And in Bristol, there's a female dog who's larger than most. Sasha, the Staffordshire Bull Terrier, was a rescue dog, but over the last 4 years, her doting owners Bill and Ruth Rigby have spoilt her so much that if they carry on, she could die.
It started out with a cream slice on a Saturday. She got to the stage where she was having one a day.
Cream cakes, Maltesers, liver. She likes a bit of cheese. And she likes scrambled egg.
But she was also having lots of sweeties.
We couldn't stop her eating.
No.
We couldn't.
Ordinarily, staffies have tremendous stamina and require vast amounts of exercise.
Come on then, Sash, let's see you doing it. Come on then.
Although in Sasha's case, a short walk to the end of the garden path is far enough. Animal Welfare Officer Dan Hatfield has been giving the Rigbys advice on how to get Sasha's weight down. But he knows full well that Bill and Ruth are finding it very hard to stop spoiling their pride and joy.
I'm hoping she's lost weight. I'm hoping they'd listen to what I said. I'm hoping there's no bowl of treats down on the floor like last time. Fingers crossed. I think it's been roughly 4 weeks, so I mean it should be enough time to visually see a difference.
As it's almost a month since Dan was last here, he's expecting to see a noticeable improvement.
Oh yeah, you all right? How's Sasha been?
Oh, she's been doing very well indeed. Wait, I'll show you. Look, you look at her collar. Put your hand in her collar and you'll see.
Ruth might think Sasha looks slimmer, but Dan's not convinced.
I mean, she looks lively. She doesn't look much different from my last visit.
She's gently doing it.
Being as little as 20% overweight increases a dog's risk of serious health problems, including diabetes, heart complaints, and arthritis. The diet that 6-year-old Sasha's been living on would be unhealthy for a human being, never mind a dog.
She's definitely looking a lot more active. We just need to start getting her weight down on paper, really.
It's clear that Ruth and Bill just can't help themselves from spoiling Sasha, so Dan's referring her to a diet clinic in Bristol.
It needed someone else to help us, to jog us into it, because we were still being too kind and we were sort of backing off from doing something. And Dan coming along was the right thing. Come on then, girlie. You've been waiting for Mum, haven't you?
Ruth and Bill have effectively been killing Sasha with kindness, but that's all about to change.
This way. No, we don't go that way.
At the clinic, the first thing vet Damien Puccini needs to do is find out Sasha's current weight.
Back in 2009, looking
Yeah.
at her previous records, she was about 18 to 19 kilos and was, even at that stage, was sort of judged to be overweight.
Yeah.
Now she's 25. Realistically, she should probably be nearer 15 to 16 kilos.
Sasha's almost twice as heavy as she should be, and if things carry on the way they are, she may well die. Damien is keen for Ruth to see just how obese Sasha's become.
Ideally, we should see a clear, defined waist. When we pop her hands on her ribs,
We should be able to feel the ribs really without putting too much pressure on it at all. Bless her, in Sasha's case, I can feel a lot of fat there, but I would struggle to feel the ribs under there at the moment. We want to cut the food down, but equally important is that we up the exercise.
Yeah.
She's only 6.
Yeah.
If we leave things as they are, she's inevitably going to suffer health-wise, and none of us want that.
With a new diet and exercise plan to stick to, Sasha will be back for regular checkups.
She means the world to me. She is everything. She is my best friend. She's like a little child to me. Now we realise that it was more cruel than kind. And being kinder now.
Now that Ruth and Bill fully understand the danger that they've put Sasha in by constantly spoiling her, she should be shedding the pounds in no time. In Grimsby, there's been a call about some neglected dogs. The sign on the property warns of dogs running free, but Inspector Stuart Wainwright quickly discovers that's anything but the case.
Lots of dog faeces there.
There are a number of sheds along the driveway up to the house, but Stuart's instincts tell him something isn't right. Curious as to what's going on, Stuart takes a closer look, and what he finds is appalling.
There's an elderly-looking German Shepherd Collie type dog I can see. I think there's only the one dog in here. Hello. Conditions inside are shocking. This dog just looks so depressed.
A dog as large as this German Shepherd needs lots of room to exercise, yet this one has been shut in a tiny shed with no food or water. And just a few yards up the path, there's another shed with even more dogs locked inside.
3 medium-sized black Belgian Shepherd, perhaps type dogs. The conditions inside are horrendous. It's pitch black, they've got dirty coats. It's hard to see how slim they are. Floor's just wet through, covered in faeces, there's no bedding. I can't see any water provision down. They're cowering at the back. Yeah, it's not very good in there at all.
Disgusted by what he's seen and concerned about the welfare of any other animals that might be on site, Stuart takes a look at the rest of the property.
Hello?
No one seems to be home, but Stuart's found even more dogs.
There's clearly a strong smell of dogs. There's obviously a lot of dogs here. Hello?
It's another 2 German Shepherds, and like the ones in the sheds, they are also being kept in a filthy state.
There's 2 dogs in there. The conditions are not very good at all. Initial thoughts are, I need to speak with the owner straight away.
Worried about the welfare of the dogs, but with no power of entry himself, Stuart calls the police and a local vet to help him get them out.
It absolutely stinks.
While they're assessing the dogs in the sheds, the owners return and claim to have a valid excuse for not providing their animals with the care and attention they need.
What's happened is I've had a long period with unemployment and we've been absolutely strapped for money. I've now started work, so now I've got a reasonable income coming in.
The only thing that says to me, from what you've said, is that you've been off work, so you've had ample time to clean.
We've had no money, that's the thing.
It doesn't cost anything to scrape faeces off a floor. Unacceptable, no excuse. Would you like to be in there on that floor in your own urine and faeces with nothing to lie on, no fresh air, all that urea and ammonia smell? The pack animals, one of them's on its own. Is that acceptable to you?
Well, she's normally out, obviously gets walked out.
I can only call it as I see it. I've turned up here, it's horrendous.
As the dogs are released from the sheds, it becomes clear just how badly they've been mistreated.
The amount of faeces matted in her tail is not acceptable. She feels quite slim. They're not displaying signs of being comfortable about being out. She looks scared of you. What's sad for me is those dogs are that unsocialised and they're that scared and timid, they kept running back into that shed.
Next, they take a closer look at the dogs in the garage next to the house.
Everywhere it's old faeces as well. It's probably 6 inches deep. It's never been cleaned. There's an overpowering smell. There's newer faeces, there's no bedding, There's hazards, there's no water, there's no food present, no real ventilation. There's nowhere suitable in the address at all to keep animals. This is just horrendous.
The initial complaint also claimed that dogs were being bred here, and the RSPCA have just found a pair of 5-week-old puppies. And Stuart soon discovers that the conditions they're kept in are even worse.
The 2 puppies that have just emerged were living inside the utility room. What the camera won't pick up is the strong stench of urea. It's quite stinging to the eyes. That old sleeping bag is sodden. Everything is just filthy. You can see where dogs have jumped at the door. There's a high tide mark of dirt and faeces everywhere.
Stuart suspects the owners are failing to provide the level of care required under the Animal Welfare Act, and after speaking to them, they agree to sign over the 7 adult dogs and the 2 puppies into the care of the RSPCA. All the dogs are taken to local kennels, where their new lives will begin as they are put up for rehoming.
They're going to bed in, calm down. They're all lovely dogs. We should find some nice homes for them fairly soon.
Inspector Clare Dew is investigating reports of abandoned dogs in a block of flats in London. Having established that some of the dogs inside were puppies, Claire called in the police to force entry so that she could get them out.
We've removed the 2 puppies from the bathroom where they were, and they've gone down with my colleague, and they've just been placed in the vehicle for the moment while we now manoeuvre Mum out so that we can get all 3 off to the vet and just give a check that they're all right.
Claire knows that getting the mother out isn't going to be as straightforward.
If she goes for you, just run, yeah? What's this? She's getting upset because we've cornered her, which is understandable. She's a cornered animal. She can't hear her puppy. She doesn't know what we've done with her. It'll take a few minutes to get her trust really.
10 minutes later, the dog isn't showing any signs of calming down. In fact, she's even more aggressive than before, and this is developing into a very risky situation.
Being on the bed gives the dog an advantage because she's above us. She's dominant to us then in pack language, so she's giving us the pack leader routine, and we want to prove that we're pack leaders, which we're not doing very well at the minute, are we?
Fortunately, Claire has a plan that she hopes will tip the odds in her favour. But there's a problem.
We need something between us and the dog. The dog can come right up to us, that we can put a grasper on it, but can't actually reach us. So an ironing board, funny enough, is ideal. And most houses usually have one.
Unable to find an ironing board, the girls have to improvise.
OK. Go in as far as we can with the chair. If we can get her to attack the chair, well, fine, but... Ready?
Yes.
Coming in. That's a good girl. Come on. Come on.
Using the chair as a shield,
Come on, let's go.
the girls manage to get closer to the dog than they have before. But as they move in with the graspers, the potential for the dog to attack increases. Eventually, with a little bit of gentle persuasion, they secure the dog.
Good girl, come on. That's a good girl.
And almost straight away, she seems to calm down.
Good girl.
It's taken almost 2 hours,
Good girl, come on.
but today has been a success.
She's nervous, but she's certainly not as aggressive as obviously we've just seen her. We've forced our dominance on her and she's accepted it, as any pack animal would. Good girl. She's calm now, she's lying down in the kennel, she's quite relaxed.
There are a couple of males.
All that remains now is for Mum to be reunited with her puppies.
This is a healthy Staffordshire Bull Terrier male. It's a little boy. They're a little bit lethargic, they're quite hot, but they've been shut in that room maybe for a couple of days. Mum needs to be looking after them, so we're going to put them in a kennel next to Mum so she can see them and hear them and smell them.
All 3 dogs will be taken to a vet where their health and condition will be assessed. The dogs, rescued from atrocious living conditions in Grimsby, were taken to the Woodside Animal Centre in Leicester. And just a few weeks after arriving, one of the puppies is going home with her new family. As Centre Supervisor Lee Mayer explains, matching a dog to its new home isn't something that's taken lightly.
It's a massive deal when you're pairing somebody up with a new dog, especially a dog like a German Shepherd. They are extremely intelligent and they can be quite a handful if they go to the wrong hands.
Flossie is now 17 weeks old and has been adopted by the Stokes Edie family.
Flossie! Hello, sweetheart. Hello, baby. As soon as they walked in, I fell in love. Are you coming to join our family? Are you? Oh, yes. Yes, hello.
It's a far cry from the treatment that Flossie was used to.
I know she's been rescued from a bad situation, but let's make that situation better. And don't make me cry, because I can't abide people treating animals badly. They just need love.
The Stokes Edies already have a 3-year-old German Shepherd, so Flossie will always have a companion to play with.
She's going to fit in really, really well with our other German Shepherd. She'll be like little sister.
Is it then? Come and play with us.
Having a dog makes your life complete, I suppose.
Here, come in.
The Staffordshire Bull Terrier and her 2 puppies were returned after it transpired that the owner had been delayed on a trip away. And since starting her new diet and exercise plan, Sasha has finally lost some weight. It's only 0.7 of a kilogram, but it is a step in the right direction. Next time, an early morning raid in South London to rescue dogs from an owner who's banned from keeping animals.
There's another dog in here, another dog.
Are you going to stand on here for me? Come on, darling.
And a pedigree dog saved in the nick of time.
Body weight of 16 kilograms, she should be more like 25 kilograms, so she's extremely underweight. You can see all of her bones.